Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to learn how to draft a princess dart bustier top. And so work with me. And so I'm starting out by drafting out my neckline. I'm going by 3 inches to 2.5 inches, 3 inches for the width and 2.5 inches for the depth. Then I mark my shoulder measurements divided by 2, and then I come down by 1 inch at that edge for the shoulder slope. So the slope is super important because the shoulder is not completely straight, and so you come down a little by 1 inch. And so once I'm done with the shoulder measurement, I then proceed to mark my shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, and shoulder to hip measurements. Now for this particular style that we are drafting, it's super important to include our under bust measurements. So you take that under bust measurement, which is below our bust, and you also add that as well, and then you get a straight line to easily identify what you're working on. And so at some point when you add the bust line, waistline, under bust line, hip line, chest line, and probably your neckline, depending on how high you want it to be, the lines might appear a lot and you might get lost in it. So it's important you draw out a line and go as far as identifying each line, probably writing the bust, chest line, waistline, hip line at the edge, so you are able to easily identify what line you're working on. And so what you see me doing here is drawing out the chest line, which is about 2 inches above your bust line, or your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and that chest line is used for the armhole. So what I'm doing here is drafting out my under bust line. So just like I said earlier, it's important to get a straight line across, which would help you to easily place out your body measurements in the accurate parts that you marked out from your shoulder to each body part, be it the bust, the chest line, the waistline, or the hip line. And so the chest line, like I've said, you can easily go 2 inches above your bust, or you can divide your bust measurement into 6, then plus 1.5 inches, and then you get your chest line. The chest line is used to get your armhole measurements. And so what I'm drawing out now is just drawing out the neckline I've sketched out before. So I had a broken line before, and what I'm doing now is connecting the broken line together to have a clearer picture of the neckline. And then I'm going in for my armhole. So you connect the shoulders to the chest line, and what I'm doing here is just identifying each line, like I said earlier, your chest line, your bust, your under bust. So it is helpful to identify each line so you know what exactly you're working with. And so for your princess dart, it's super important that you take note of your nipple to nipple measurements. So on that bust line, let's say my nipple to nipple measurement is 6, I would mark 3 on the bust line. And then for my under bust line, waistline, and hip line, I go in by half of an inch from what I used on my bust line. Meaning that if I use 3 inches on my bust line, I will use 2.5 from my under bust line to my hip line. So your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 on your bust line, and then you minus 0.5 inches from the nipple to nipple measurement used on the bust line. Once you've divided your nipple to nipple measurement into 2 on your bust line, you minus 0.5 and you apply that from your under bust line. So once you've marked that out, then you will take 2 inches darts from the under bust to the hip line, as you can see here, on the side facing outside. So on the armhole side that is going outside, you take 2 inches from the nipple to nipple measurements that you took before, from the under bust to your hip line, and then you will curve it in from the under bust into your bust line like I marked here. So once I've marked that 2 inches dart, I will go to the middle of my armhole. Some people take 4 inches, some people mark from the middle, depending on what you want. And then I connect it to the nipple to nipple measurement I took on my bust line. And so once I've connected that, I take my tape rule and I mark out another 2 inches. You know, I marked 2 inches from the under bust to the hip line. I marked 2 inches down from the middle of the armhole, and I connect it back into that line. So it's like a 2 inches dart that I took on my armhole. And once I've marked that, I will take my tape rule now and mark out the measurement inside the dart and replace it outside of the bottom dart that I took. Can you see? So I will make sure I replace it there, and then I will connect it back and connect. Once I connect, I'll draw another armhole with the bottom. I'm doing this because once you cut out the darts in the middle, that part gets shorter, but by drawing out and replacing the dart you took to that side, it will fill back the space that you cut out previously. And so I am dotting out the dart that I'm going to cut out, because once you are dotting it, you are marking it out to know what part you are going to cut out with your scissors. So this is just me dotting out the lines, that's the dots that I'm going to take out. So hopefully, I hope you are able to get what I am doing here. So it's important to replace that dot so as to avoid any shortness when you are about to make your clothes. So once you do that, you place your bust measurement divided by 4, and make sure to include the dart that is taken out on the bust line. Add your sewing allowances as well, please do not forget that. Then on the bust line as well, you replace your bust measurement divided by 4 plus your sewing allowances. On the under bust line, you can mark out your under bust. If you want to, you can leave it and just keep to your waist, but some do, and so they measure out their under bust divided by 4 plus the dart in there. And then your waist, you mark out your waist measurement divided by 4, same thing again, plus the dart plus your sewing allowance. And you do that as well with the hip line. Do not forget your darts and do not forget your sewing allowances. Then once you've done that, you connect each dot together. And so make sure that you're marking out your body measurements divided by 4, because this is going to be cut on your folded material for the front piece and then also for the back piece. So once I have my dots connected, I then proceed to trace out the darts and to cut out my bodice pattern. And here you have your full princess dart bustier top. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you.